Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's arena time. Well, coming off my last run as a mage, it's time to start a new arena here. Let's see. Well, I don't have a quest for any of these, but I definitely haven't done Hunter in the arena yet, so... Hunter's not necessarily my favorite class, and I'm not sure how good they are for the arena in particular, because their ability doesn't help you control the battlefield, and many of their cards rely on the combo of having a lot of beasts. But I'm going to try it out anyway, because I haven't recorded one yet. Haven't even done one. They don't have... I'm not a big fan of Bloodsail Corsair, especially as a rare. It seems kind of poor. Pint-sized Summoner is fine, but I'm going to take Explosive Shot, because I really like the Druid card Swipe. This is a little more expensive, but it does 1 more damage to everything. It's just like very explosive. I think this is a pretty easy choice. Shattered Sun Cleric is very good, and both of these guys are kind of iffy to me. Another stupid Corsair, or a Light Warden, which doesn't go very well with this. Looks like I'm taking a Stampede and Kodo. Like, extra rares is awesome, but that was really not that exciting. Frost Elemental is nice. They've done me a lot of good in the past. Bloodsail Raider is actually kind of strong, although there aren't that many. I'm not too likely to have Hunter weapons in the arena here. I think the only ones they have are rare, pretty much. I'm going to go with Multi-Shot, because removal is super, super good in limited formats. Now, as good as removal is, I don't like Snipe. Yeah, it'll probably kill something, but your opponent can play around it. Your opponent knows you have a secret out there, and they're going to do things like play a weak creature first. Like, yes, the fact that they have to play around it does mess them up a little bit, but no, I'm not a big fan of Snipe. Mad Bomber does some stuff, but I'm going to take the Ventricle Mercenary because he's pretty chunky. I see a lot of Unleash the Hounds. That seems to be a common combo that hunters have. They play with a whole lot of little cheap creatures. They save them up in their hand. They take a bunch of beats, but they save them up in their hand. And so you played a couple Timberwolves, like this guy, give all your other beasts +1 attack, and they're very cheap. And a couple of other cheap, like 1 or 2 cost beasts, and then boom, Unleash the Hounds, +1 attack, all the beasts have charge, and just kill your opponent in sort of one blow. I don't know about that, but this definitely seems like the most useful card out of those. This is a Timberwolf. I don't know how many beasts I'll actually have. I should try and get lots of beasts, but I don't know how many I'll actually get, because this is arena, and it's random. This is tough. Deadly Shot is a super good problem-solving sort of card. If you can kill off your opponent's weaker creatures, leave them with the one really nasty one, this will blow it up. Spellbreaker is really good because he gives you a good-sized creature, and the silence is super strong. And I love Explosive Trap. It's one of my favorite. It's probably my favorite Hunter trap. One of the best, anyway, because, yeah, they have to attack my hero, but it does 2 damage to all enemies. It only costs you 2, and it can mess them up. Oh boy. I don't even know what to choose out of this. I'm so early on, I can't really base it that much on what I have already. This is probably a... No, I really want the Spellbreaker, but I think I'm going to have to take the Deadly Shot, because it could save my butt. It's a guaranteed kill on something. Here, Ancient Brewmaster is quite good, I'm starting to find. He's very good. But on the other hand, Chillwind Yeti, like, there are situations where you don't want the Brewmaster. There aren't a lot of situations where you don't want the Yeti. He's a big fat Yeti, so I'm going to take him. We have Farseer, who again I'm not that excited about. I really like Flesh Eating Ghoul, but I'm going to take the Starving Buzzard, because hopefully I will get some beasts, and this guy's awesome. He's a 2/2 for 2. Whenever you summon a beast, you draw a card. So often, if you can get a couple of cheap beasts, just have 1 cheap beast in your hand, or later in the game when you have lots of mana, you just play him and even a medium-cost beast. Draw a card. Very good. Okay, here's my 10th card, which is always a rare. Misdirection is a pretty darn good trap as well. Questing Adventure is pretty good. He does have weak points though. It's harder. I don't know. He's become not my favorite card for the arena. Crazed Alchemist I do really like for a 2-cost guy. I mean, he's okay for the cost. The 2/2 is fine, and his power can often do crazy things that are very handy, especially like later in the game. But I'm going to take the Misdirection. Whenever a character attacks my hero, it gets redirected to another random character. If I'm lacking an army, this is gonna they're gonna blow up one of their own guys. You know, it's pretty awesome. Wow, more good stuff. The Acidic Ooze is obviously super good. I mean, almost all constructed decks play with 2 of this guy because he's about as good as you're going to get for the cost, and if your opponent has a weapon, it makes a huge difference. Plus, a lot of the time, like you can tell just from what class your opponent is how likely they are to have weapons. If you're playing against a mage, you know that you don't have to save this. You can just play it right away. But Scavenging Hyena here, he's only 1 attack smaller. Whenever a friendly beast dies, he gets a permanent bonus, and he can become pretty big. And I'm going to want beasts to combo with some of my other stuff, like already Unleash the Hounds and Starving Buzzard. They want beasts to make them work. I'd rather take the Ooze, but I think I'm going to take the Scavenging Hyena because I'm expecting kind of a beast shortage. Oftentimes I find beasts are not actually as good as non-beast creatures. Out of these guys, I don't have any taunt yet. Again, this guy's not too exciting. This guy is better if you're a mage or maybe a priest or a warrior. I'm going to take the Warden. Get another multi-shot, or I've got a choice of a couple beasts here. Now that I don't have that many beasts yet, the Timberwolf is starting to look a little bit more appealing. And actually the River Croc is fine when you're a hunter. On the other hand, multi-shot kills things, and being the person with the most removal is a big deal in the arena. Not quite halfway through my deck yet. Hopefully I'll get more creatures. Now here I've got the choice. I have a fair amount of removal cards that are damage-based, so the Ogre Magi would be really good. The Scavenging Hyena, again, he's a beast, and the more beasts I have, the better he will be. And there's the Fen Creeper who has Taunt. I'm going to not take him now. I'm going to assume I can get some Taunt later, or there's some cards that give your beasts Taunt and stuff, but between these two is hard, right? I guess Deadly Shot's not damage-based, but I have 2 multi-shots and the Explosive Shot that would benefit from Ogre Magi. But no, I think I'm going to try and get more beasts here, because theoretically it'll be important. This is an easier choice. I don't like this guy that much anyway, for any class, really. He's just kind of sad. This guy is very good for a lot of things, but the more Scavenging Hyenas I get, the better they'll all be. Chillwind Yeti is very good. Dark Iron Dwarf is better. One less toughness, but he gives you 2 more attack, and as long as you have a creature that is out there that can attack that turn, that attack goes right away. This is a little tricky. Again, this thing, I don't give it enough respect. I mean, it's expensive and it's going to die, but if you think of it as a card that's going to do 5 damage, it's like a 5 damage nuke for 6. On the downside, it's affected by Taunt. On the upside, it can be affected by things that buff creatures, and your opponent does have to do something to kill it, or else it'll still be there, and then do way more damage than a 5 damage nuke. But the Razorfen Hunter, see, it doesn't say beast on it, but you get a 1/1 boar when you cast her, and the boar is a beast, so it does trigger the Scavenging Hyena, the Starving Buzzard, stuff like that. And then Loot Hoarder, he draws you a card. He does more damage than the Engineers, so it's like those Gnome Engineers cost 2. It's much nicer that they give you the card right away. This guy can be silenced and other things can happen, but having a 2/1 is generally a lot better than a 1/2. I've got a fair amount of 2-cost stuff, though I don't have as much 3-cost. And one thing I'm starting to learn from all these runs is the 3 and 4-cost stuff tends to win a lot of games if you have good 3 and 4-cost stuff. Stop giving me Farseers. Tiger's okay, but this is another spell where looking at it doesn't tell you much. Animal Companion, like, it just says summon a random beast companion. It's actually kind of stupid that you find out so little from it. But there are 3 choices as far as I can tell. There's that you can get for this. There's a 4/4 with Taunt, which is obviously amazing for 3. There's also the Pig, which is a 4/2 with Charge, which is pretty spiffy for 3 mana. I mean, that's the same stats as that stupid Golem that gives your opponent another mana permanently. The other one it can give you is a 2/4 that gives all other minions on your side +1 attack. Any one of those creatures is way better than the 3 mana that would normally get you, but the fact that it's random and not in your control, just like the Shaman Totems, that's the balancing factor. But it's super good. It's always going to give you something good. This is a pretty tough choice. Remember, I think the 4-cost Fat often is what wins you games. 4 and 5-cost sort of stuff. Kill Command is pretty darn strong. It's 3 damage, which could be a 2-player if you have to, right? And if you have a beast that does 5 damage instead, that is a ton of damage. I already have a fair amount of control, though. I'm thinking I'm going to get another Scavenging Hyena because it's starting to get kind of sick. Remember, normally you can only have 2 of any one card in... oh, nice. Normally you can only have 2 of any one card in Hearthstone in your deck, but in Arena, because it's random, you can have as many copies as you can scavenge. I could have actually had a 5th one by now, I think. So we got Bestial Wrath, which is very cheap. It gives a beast +2 attack and immune, so that beast gets +2 attack and won't take any damage. Just kind of like giving it a bubble and +2 attack. Big Game Hunter is pretty darn good in limited format. I mean, a 4/2 for 3 is perfectly good. And then, if your opponent does have any gargantuan, huge creature they've pumped up or paid 1,000,000 mana for, destroy a minion with attack of 7 or more. That's very nice. But can't beat the game-winning sort of power of the Gladiator's Longbow here. I think I've got to take this. This thing is sick. It's a 5 attack weapon. Yeah, it's only got 2 durability. 7 is a lot of mana, but my hero doesn't take damage for using this. So think of it as like a creature with 5 attack and haste that can't be attacked by just about anything other than acid oozes. Yeah, that is very good. Yeah, more arenas. This is starting to get sick. Hyenas is starting to get sick. Snapjaw is another beast. He's a bigger one. I don't have anything yet that actually buffs my beasts, which means this guy's not that exciting for me. There are some cards that give like a beast +2/+2 and taunt, which is basically what this guy's designed for, but he's not one of my favorites. Tracking is interesting. This thing is, like, theorycraft-wise, this is, like, amazing. Because it costs very little, and it replaces itself. Like, you're drawing a card to replace it, but you're actually choosing which of the next 3 cards you want to draw. You're discarding the others, so you're going to die of deck death faster if that's an issue, which it usually isn't. I should probably take this. On the other hand, I could have a 5th Hyena, which, if for nothing else but, like, the fun factor, I think your opponent starts to freak out when you get up to, like, when you've played 4 of the same card. It's tough because late game is not going to be as good, necessarily. On the other hand, I mean, if I have any beasts in play, then I play this guy, attack with them, and he becomes a 4/3 for, you know, attack with them and they die. He becomes a 4/3 for 2. I wish instead of 5 of these guys, I had 5 starving buzzers. That would be so sick. Oh, I should really take the tracking. I'm going to take the tracking. I like the idea of taking the hyena, but the tracking is more likely to help me win. As much as it sometimes doesn't feel like it. So this guy's got the crazy, like, Wind Fury and Rage, which is very strong. This guy has Taunt and Enrage, which means usually he dies before he gets the Enrage, but it does mean that your opponent's forced to deal with him because of the Taunt. That's very good. And then there's the Raid Leader. I have a lot of kind of weak creatures here, but on the other hand, he's a weak creature. I think I'm better off taking another one with Taunt. Wind Fury, I need some more fat at this point, but Wind Fury Harpy's not my favorite. I don't have stuff to buff her with. The River Croc is not a killing machine, but it is a beast. The Rifleman is more removal, sort of, although he's kind of weak. At this point, I have so many Hyenas and the Buzzard, I think I'm actually going to take the River Croc. I'm going to suffer from my deck being too low casting cost. I really do need more fat. Like, just to pile more Dark Iron Dwarves and Yetis would be fine with me, but I think I'm going to take the Wind Fury Harpy, despite not liking her so much. You know, the Tiger is a beast, and he's fat. Use him. Got the Explosive Trap. Freezing Trap. The thing about Freezing Trap is this is when any enemy minion attacks. Doesn't matter what they're attacking. The Explosive Trap will only trigger when they actually attack me, my guy, directly. But the Freezing Trap, it just returns their thing to their hands. They can return it. They can play it again, even though it costs 2 more. If it's a Battle Cry, they can even get it again. Whereas Explosive Trap is an AoE. Like, this could get me some serious card advantage. I really like Explosive Trap. I have enough cheap stuff. I want the fat. We're getting near the end here. I could take the Snapdraw, but I'm going to take another Explosive Trap, because why not? Yes, more Starving. Oh, that is so tough. That Brewmaster is fine, but, like, the Starving Buzzard is more card drawing, right? And I do actually have a fair number of beasts now. I've got the 4 Hyenas, the other Buzzard, Animal Companion, Razorfen Hunter drops a beast, and the Kodo, and the I have a lot of beasts, so this is great card drawing potential. The Animal Companion is about the most efficient creature in the universe, even if it is kind of random. Ah! I'm going to go for the card draw. I have so many inexpensive creatures and explosive traps, I'm going to try for the card drawing. I'm going to regret not taking this Animal Companion, probably, but it is more Dark Iron, that's what I wanted. On the other hand, this is a taunt creature that is also a beast. And now I have 4 Hyenas and 2 Buzzards that are fueled by beasts, and I've got Unleash the Hounds. That's a lot of beast power I can get going, but no, I want more fatness. I'm going to want the Dark Iron Dwarf. Maybe a dubious choice at this point, because the other stuff's working out so well. And once again, my choice of last card is something I don't care about. This time something mediocre, and so this time it's a much easier choice than some of the other times. But for some reason, I very often get Argent Commander as the last guy. Well, you're in, buddy. Look at this casting curve with all those 2-cost creatures. I do not like the look of that, but it might work out because of the combo beastness of the deck. We're going to have to find out the hard way. Crazy Hunter Beast again. Oh, I do not know what is going to happen here, but it looks like my deck might be fast, and the beast combos might pay off later on. So we're gonna have to see. What have I got? Up against a priest. Beast versus priest.
The light shall bring victory.
That almost sounded clever, but it's not. So my starting hand is a whole lot of 4-cost creatures, and you know what? I'm gonna pitch them all because most of my deck costs less than that. Well, now I've seen most of the cards in my deck that don't cost less than 4. Oh my god. Really? That's what you give me? And I'm going first. I am displeased. This is a horrible, horrible start for my deck. I have two of the most expensive cards in my deck and none of the cheapest ones. Still none of the cheapest ones. I have to do 2 damage with my power, but that doesn't compare to the 2 damage per turn plus 2 that this guy's going to do. Ah, so horrible.
Is someone injured?
Oh, that's right, and he's a priest, and he has a coin. If I was going second, at least I could coin and, like, multi-shot those guys. Where were you before? Now you're just going to get your ass kicked. Ah, so stupid. Oh well. Play the Tauren Warrior. He's not a bad play against these two guys, but he's not great either. He's going to attack with the Northshire and then heal herself and then trade. Yeah. I could see that coming. I would have said it even faster if I wasn't drinking. Oh, such a horrible start. Now here, things start to get interesting. Now I can finally play 4-cost guys, although this one would rather have stuff in play. I can play the Starving Buzzard, though, then play the Hyena. I draw a card, and if the my opponent's going to want to kill the Buzzard because it's a card-drawing engine. But if they kill the Buzzard first, the Hyena becomes big. So that's obviously the play. Let's see what I draw. Where were you guys in my starting stuff? It was like horrible. Okay, well, that'll come in handy at some point, I have no doubt. I mean, nothing bad has happened to me yet, so this could be a lot worse considering how crummy my start was. On the other hand, look at all those cards. Priests tend to go late game. There are a lot of combos in the priest cards that can make super ultra mega creatures later on. And as long as that Northshire is around, he's going to get ridiculous card advantage, most likely. Oh, that's right, and he went second, so he has the coin. Fen Creeper's pretty ugly against the specific things that I have out right now. I'll play another Hyena, which would draw me a card, and then when one of these guys died, any remaining Hyenas will get bigger. On the other hand, Explosive Shot would take that guy down pretty hard, or Multi-Shot would kill the Northshire Cleric, which is pretty important. If I Explosive Shot, then I'd still have to lose one of my guys to kill that, and then I could finish off the Cleric. Problem is I can't put out the Hyena and do either of those things. That's very unfortunate, but I'll have to live with it. As nice as multi-Hyena combo would be, it's not as important as blowing up these guys. They're both pretty bad. So
I wonder
if I do this and then attack with both my guys, bird dies. It's going to be 4-3, 4-2. I'm running out of time to think about that. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I would have liked more time to think about that, but I don't think it would have made a big difference. I would much rather keep the card drawing one alive, but given the circumstances, what was in play, I might as well gain the advantage of this, because whichever I had left, there was a reasonable chance it would die first anyway. I don't know. Okay. So, 6 mana, I could play a Hyena and then a Dark Iron Dwarf, trade this for that. I could not trade, I could play a Hyena, Dark Iron Dwarf, and just do the damage. That's probably better. Although bad things can happen with these guys. There's that priest card that just doubles something's toughness. That would be bad. And wearing him down would be nice. Like, hitting him would make him very weak. But no, I think I'm going to go the more offensive route. So I'll try and take that guy down when he has another target to multi-shot. Because of course you can't multi-shot when there's only one thing.
You call that a weapon?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it. I mean, this one's a big target now. It'll probably just get its butt kicked, but If it dies, then the other one gets bigger, so... yeah. I have an army, he has more cards. And he can kill any one of my guys with this. If he wants. I'm just worried he's gonna, whatever it is, inner fire or it's the other one, whatever, double its toughness. That would be unpleasant.
Give me a quest.
That guy could be unpleasant too. Getting bigger with every card. Okay, that wasn't the end of the world. What's he gonna do? Trade for my 6/2? Or eat the Dark Iron and still have... no. I kind of thought that would happen. If you had a regular 5/5, you might kill the Dark Iron Dwarf, right? But with that guy, he'd become a 1/1. Like, he loses attack as well as defense, and it's kind of silly. So, not much to think about here. I mean, he has set me up for a perfect multi-shot. Multi-shot targets randomly, but there are only 2 targets, and they're both in multi-shot range. So that's about as optimal as it's going to get. And since I only have 3 mana left, the only real choice is play the Razorfen Hunter, who of course has the Boar, which is a beast. If it dies, this guy's going to get bigger. This is starting to look pretty good for me, this first game, especially since I have enough mana to put out the Gladiator's Longbow now. So this can, over the course of 2 turns, kill any 2 things that have 5 toughness or less. And I don't take the damage for it, because it makes me immune while attacking. Oh. Crazy good. He could have AoEs. If he could play like a Geomancer and then Holy Nova, that would wipe out almost all my stuff. This ability won't trigger if he dies at the same time as the other things. No. He just surrendered because he was really in a bad place. I don't know. He didn't even see the bow. If he knew about the bow, he would have surrendered even faster. Alright. And it just gave me another daily quest, none of which apply. But that puts me 1-0, and I don't know, this deck seems like it has potential. I have a lot of AoE, I have these crazy beast combos, which, in the case of the Hyenas, is actually possibly better than what you could do in Constructed. Not the whole deck, but aspects of the deck are actually kind of better than you could do in Constructed, which is weird. Let's see what I can do with it next time.
If you enjoyed this, please click the like button, or on your touchscreen, please lick the like button. Warning, licking the touchscreen is not recommended.